Click for IB Biology. We're studying environmental stability and change. And here we've got a second example of primary succession on sand dunes, how sand dunes develop. There's a blank PDF of this presentation down in the description. Annotate that with your own notes and then take the quiz of 10 questions with answers to check your progress and understanding. And so if we take a walk towards the front of the sand dunes to walk on the beach or to go surfing, we'd classically walk through small areas of woodland and then up and down the dunes as we make our way to the shore. Good observation will show that you notice that the dunes will turn from a grey colour to a yellow colour, and this reflects the amount of organic matter within the actual sand. The flat regions between the dunes are known as slags. In fact, what's happening is that we're moving from a region dominated by biotic factors in our community to a region dominated by abiotic physical factors at the front in the community. How does this change and how do these changes come about? If we were to stand on the foreshore in this location here, then a winter storm will result in the build-up of material, floating material and rocks in the sand like this. And this creates an opportunity for the accumulation of sand around those items. We call this the drift line. With a drift line and the slightly increased stability of the sand, this creates an opportunity for a species known as couch grass to occupy that location. It does need slight stability in the sand. And the couch grass is known for its abiotic, the couch grass is known for its asexual reproduction, creating an underground root system as it spreads through the sand, sending vertical shoots towards the surface, and in this way creates stability in the patch of sand which we see here. So the couch grass is adapted to very, very unstable and shifting sands and colonizes it quickly through asexual reproduction. As the sand accumulates, we get the beginning of what's called an embryo dune. If we stay in that location for a long period of time, many years, we will see that the embryo dune begins to grow taller. And this is a consequence, and this is the formation of what is called the yellow dune. The yellow dune, which develops from the embryo dune, is brought about by the stability created on the embryo dunes by the couch grass, allows Maram grass the opportunity to compete with the couch grass. Now, Maram grass has adaptations which are covered in other videos, which allow it to outcompete the couch grass, namely that as the sand accumulates, they can grow very rapidly vertical shoots like this. Its growth point is beneath the surface like this, and it outcompetes the couch grass. And in doing so, the dune grows and the community of organisms in that area has just changed. As the Maram grass grows, there is also some decomposition and increased water retention, and the location is now changing again. We are now 30 to 50 years into our observation. "30 or 40 years into the observation, the accumulation of sand in that area has grown the dune from the yellow dune, which is in this location here, into this large dune structure here, seen here in the background, which is known as a yellow-grey dune. And the grey part is caused by the decomposition of the Maram grasses. They add organic matter to the sand as soil is beginning to evolve. But this takes perhaps 50 to 100 years to develop. And of course, with the wind blowing this way from the sea and the dominance of the abiotic factors of tide and wind and salt spray into this area, behind the dunes we start to develop another niche opportunity in what is known as the lee of the slope, away from the wind. The stability in this area can allow the local growth of some hardy species such as the blackthorn. So we maintain our position here, and over time we will see the transition to the old so-called old grey dunes. Now we should be aware that whilst we have maintained our position here, the development of the yellow dune created another opportunity for embryo dunes to grow in front of us, and those embryo dunes will in turn develop into yellow dunes, and therefore in front of these yellow dunes we also have new embryo dunes, and so we have a dune building process which is operating in this direction towards the ocean. So the changes are not just in our location, but also happening in front of us, and the sequence and the pattern repeats itself. So on these old grey dunes with the accumulation of organic matter, this is now rich enough to support a more diverse community of species and animals, including things like the burnet's rose, the blackthorn bushes, the rosebay willow herbs, and burnet roses, as I previously mentioned, particularly where we're in the protection of the dune here, and the wind in this area has significantly reduced. In time, if we maintain our position after perhaps 200 or 300 years of standing in this location, the soil has now achieved a richness which allows the germination of more hardy species such as birch trees and willow trees. So now we have the development of forests. The dunes which were previously in front of us, the grey-yellow dune has now developed into a grey dune. This yellow dune has developed into a yellow-grey dune, and so on. And so the community, the dunes, move outward. They grow outward towards the ocean, recolonizing the area of the beach like this. And that is the reason why when we take a walk towards the beach on our way to go surfing, or just to simply walk along the beach, we move from an area of higher stability where biotic factors dominate the location of oaks and spruces with longer food chains and complex webs. But as we move towards the foredunes, the embryo dunes down here, the biotic factors begin to change, to be replaced by abiotic factors. We become less stable, unstable. The humidity, the humus in the soil, the organic content decreases. The diversity of organisms decreases. The length of the food chain decreases, and the webs are less complex. As this is another example of the serial stages. And of course, with this instability at the front of the dunes, it's more susceptible here to these dunes in this location here being completely disrupted by a strong winter storm that can blow out and destroy this dune formation, and so the process has to start again. In the next video, we'll look at a different form of succession. Here's a link to the channel and of course to the playlist so that you can check out what's on offer in this topic.